Have you ever been on the verge of a deal, only to have it collapse at the last minute? The millions on the table, the handshake that never happened, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers. Why? Because one rule was broken, one subtle move, one hidden error. In this video, you'll discover 13 shocking negotiation rules that make or break deals, from boardroom contracts to car purchases to your next job offer. Welcome back to Tips Mayor, where we are helping you live smarter, not harder. If you're ready to change how you negotiate, not just for salaries but for everything that matters, you're in the right place. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a strategic skill video that can change your financial and professional game. Also, drop a comment now on the biggest deal you'll negotiate this year. Let's get that goal in writing. Alright, here we go. The first rule in negotiation is to prepare like it's war. Research confirms that the preparation stage is the most critical part of any negotiation. One study found that thoroughly prepared negotiators significantly outperform less prepared opponents. In preparation, you ask, what do I want? What do they want? What's my best alternative to a negotiated agreement? What's the context? What information do I still need? For example, a procurement manager walked into a vendor meeting without knowing the vendor's cost structure or alternatives. She ended up accepting a higher price. Here's what to do. Create your deal dossier tonight. Write down your goal, your walkaway point, what you know about the other side, and 3 questions you'll ask. Preparation is equal to power. Now that you're prepared, the next rule shifts you from talking to listening. The rule number 2 is to listen more than you speak. Research shows that asking open-ended questions and then pausing gives you an information advantage, the kind of leverage many negotiators never use. When you speak too early, you reveal your position, your priorities, your constraints, and you lose leverage. Instead, ask, observe, and adapt. For example, a job candidate asked 3 questions about the company's pain points and then tailored her proposal accordingly. She got a better compensation package. So, in your next discussion, ask 3 open-ended questions, write down each answer. Then frame your proposal based on what they care about, not what you want. With data collected, you're ready to present not just one choice, but multiple powerful options. This is where the rule number 3 comes in. That is to offer multiple equivalent simultaneous offers. Presenting 2 or 3 options of equal value gives your counterpart control and your insight. Research from Harvard shows that making multiple equivalent simultaneous offers creates value, improves satisfaction, and increases deal success. Instead of presenting one option, give 2 or 3 packages of equal value. This lets you learn which value drivers matter most: price, timeline, features. For example, a software vendor offered 3 packages: basic, premium, and custom. The client chose the premium, a win for both sides, because they felt in control. So for your next deal, design at least 3 versions of your proposal. Same value to you, but different trade-offs for them. For example, cost versus speed versus extras. Knowing multiple offers is key, but you also must know the zone where the deal can happen. And this is where the rule number 4 comes in. The rule is to know your zone of possible agreement. You must understand where your value meets their value. If you don't know it, you're negotiating blind. Your zone of possible agreement is the overlap between your minimum acceptable deal and their maximum acceptable offer. Without this overlap, you're in a negative bargaining zone and no deal will work. For example, a buyer looked at homes without knowing the mortgage floor or seller's minimum. She missed deals that were within range because she didn't define hers. So here's what you are going to do. List your walkaway number, estimate their bottom line, and identify the overlap zone. If none exists, prepare to walk. Once you know the zone, you'll also need to defend yourself from high-pressure tactics, which is where we need the rule number 5. The rule number 5 is to spot and defuse hard bargaining tactics like extreme demands, take it or leave it ultimatums, or belittling your alternatives. If you recognize these tactics, you can respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally and losing ground. For example, a supplier used a take it or leave it demand. The buyer paused, asked for justification, referenced alternatives, and brought the seller back with better terms. So before your next negotiation, List 3 common hardball tactics you might face. Prepare your responses now. Practice them aloud. With tactics diffused, you're ready to design a deal that works for both sides, but also protects your bottom line. Rule number 6 is to aim for win-win, but don't lose sight of your bottom line. The strongest deals create value for both parties, while protecting what you must get. Modern negotiation theory emphasizes value creation, not just value claiming. But value creation doesn't mean you accept a bad deal. For instance, a business partner designed terms so the client solved their pain point and the vendor secured recurring revenue. The result is repeat business and loyalty. So, before your next negotiation, write, what does they care about? What do I need? Then design one offer that gives them first and protects you second. If you've ever lost a deal because you didn't define your minimum, type your experience in the comment section. I'll check replies and share a bonus tip. Now, let's go to the rule number 7, which is persuasion, done with integrity. This isn't about manipulation, it's about showing value clearly and honestly. You're not forcing someone to say yes, you're helping them see why yes is the best option. Research shows that clear, value-based communication and strategic framing boost negotiation outcomes. For instance, a consultant stopped billing by hour and instead said, I help you boost revenue by 30% in 90 days. That shifted the discussion from cost to outcome and doubled the fee. So here's what you are going to do. Tonight, craft your value statement. Practice saying it aloud until it sounds natural. With your value clear, now you must control your internal game because your emotions on the table matter. So, the rule number 8 is to keep emotions in check. Emotions can sink a deal faster than bad data. Fear, impatience, or anger lead to bad concessions. Studies in behavioral negotiation show that self-control and emotional awareness correlate with stronger outcomes. For example, an executive stormed out after a perceived insult. The deal collapsed. The other side never came back. Here's what to do. Use the pause-breathe rule. When you feel triggered, stop, take 10 deep breaths, really listen, then respond. Don't react. Now that you've learned how to keep your emotions in check, let's talk about the rule number 9, which is to time your move. Because when you move matters as much as what you move. Rushing leaves value on the table. Patience is your power. Research shows negotiators who give themselves time often extract higher value. Taking for example, in real estate, one buyer accepted a first offer under pressure. But later the seller accepted a higher offer from someone who waited. So for your next negotiation, set your decision deadline and stick to it. If you're pushed too fast, ask for time. It's a strength, not a weakness. Now, let's set the terms that frame the deal with the rule number 10, which is to anchor wisely. The first number or position you present sets the reference point, the anchor. Anchors significantly influence what follows. For instance, a contractor quoted $120,000 while competitor quoted $100,000. The client anchored around $120,000 believing higher value, and negotiated a final of $110,000, which is still above what the other got. So, before your next meeting, pick your anchor number, ambitious but credible, then justify it with data or unique value. The rule number 11, build trust and rapport. People prefer doing business with those they like and trust. A strong relationship unlocks better terms. For instance, a salesperson spent the first 5 minutes discussing a hobby the client mentioned on LinkedIn. The conversation led to greater trust and the client accepted the premium package. At your next negotiation, start with a genuine question unrelated to the deal. Ask about interests, challenges, or background. Use that connection to lead into value. The next rule is the rule number 12, which is to leave room for value add. Deals aren't just about price. Extras, future partnerships, and relationship strength turn good deals into great ones. For example, a supplier offered free training plus next year priority access as value adds. Clients signed faster even though base price was slightly higher. Now, list 3 extras you could offer in your next deal, low cost to you, high value to them. For example, early support, future discount, upgrade. The final rule on our list is the rule number 13, which is to know when to walk away. Sometimes your best deal is no deal. If you don't know your walkaway line, you risk bad deals and regret. For example, a negotiator set their walkaway threshold, walked away when terms shifted unfavorably, the other party returned later with improved terms. So tonight, write down your walkaway threshold. Keep it to yourself. If the deal doesn't hit it, calmly exit. Your power lives in your choices. Now let's recap the entire framework and show how they fit together. These 13 rules aren't optional. They're what separate deals that succeed from deals that die. Those 13 negotiation rules that you've learned teaches you to prepare like war. Listen more than you speak. Offer multiple packages. Know your zone of possible agreement. Spot hardball tactics. Aim for win-win but know your bottom line. Persuade with integrity. Control your emotions. Time your moves. Anchor wisely. Build trust. Leave room for value add. And above all, know when to walk away. Choose one rule today, practice it this week, and you'll already be ahead of most negotiators. If you found these insights helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share with a friend who needs to learn how to negotiate for their next offer. I would love to hear from you. Which one of these 13 negotiation rules will you start applying today? Leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Tipsmare and hit the notification bell so you won't miss more high-impact negotiation and success videos. Also check out our other videos for more tips on how to build financial foundations and a better you. This is Tipsmare, helping you live smarter, not harder. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.